beneath the restless lights of New York City, where skyscrapers glimmered like sentinels against the night sky. A shadow moved, unseen, deliberate, and calculated. Detective Marcus Hale had long learned that the city's beauty was only a thin veil over the ugliness it hid. People talked about politics, finance, and celebrity scandals, but Marcus knew that beneath all of it, a different kind of war was raging. One fought in alleys, backrooms, and in the silence between whispered threats. It began with a body. At first glance, it seemed like another random mugging gone wrong. A man mid-40s, found sprawled in a narrow service corridor behind a popular downtown restaurant. No ID, no phone, no personal belongings. His throat was slit with surgical precision, his hands bearing faint scars from old burns. The uniformed officers at the scene exchanged the kind of weary looks that said they'd seen this before, but Marcus's instincts screamed that something about this wasn't random. The first red flag was the smell of antiseptic lingering faintly in the air, strange for an alley coated with years of city grime. The second was the small, metallic disc lodged in the victim's shoe sole, barely visible unless one looked closely. Marcus pocketed it without saying a word. In this line of work, you didn't announce your discoveries too soon. The victim's autopsy revealed a shocking truth. He wasn't just an ordinary man. His fingerprints matched those of a CIA operative who had been declared dead 6 years ago during an overseas mission. That mission, Marcus remembered from the newspapers, had been connected to a controversial operation in Eastern Europe, an operation rumored to have gone wrong in ways the public never heard about. By the time Marcus drove home that night, his gut told him he had stepped into something far bigger than a homicide. The next day, the disk he'd taken turned out to be a microdrive, encrypted with military-grade software. Marcus didn't have the clearance or the resources to crack it, so he turned to someone who did. His old friend, Julian Cross, a former NSA codebreaker turned reclusive hacker. Julian lived in an apartment that looked more like the inside of a server farm than a home, the air humming with the heat of dozens of machines. When Marcus handed him the microdrive, Julian's brow furrowed. "Where the hell did you get this?" he asked, already sliding it into a reader. Marcus didn't answer. The less Julian knew, the safer he would be, though Marcus doubted safety was even an option anymore. It took hours, but when Julian finally broke through the encryption, his face drained of color. "Marcus, this is bad. This is really bad." The files detailed a covert American program codenamed Orpheus, involving targeted assassinations, corporate sabotage, and political manipulation on an international scale. Buried in the data were names, politicians, CEOs, foreign dignitaries, all marked for elimination or manipulation. The program wasn't just about national security. It was about control. Absolute control. One name stood out on the list, Senator Adrian Locke, a rising star in American politics, publicly known for his anti-corruption stance. In 3 days, Locke was scheduled to speak at a high-profile conference in Washington, D.C. According to the files, he wouldn't survive the week. Before Marcus could even process the implications, Julian's monitors flickered. A red warning banner flashed across the screen. Unauthorized access detected. Someone had traced the breach. Within minutes, the hum of the city outside was broken by the screech of tires and the pounding of boots in the hallway. "Go!" Julian yelled, shoving the microdrive back into Marcus's hand. "I'll buy you time." Marcus hesitated for a heartbeat, but Julian's glare made it clear there was no room for argument. The detective slipped out through the fire escape as armed men in black tactical gear burst through Julian's door. Gunshots followed, sharp and final. By dawn, Marcus was on the road, heading for D.C. Every instinct told him he was being followed. Cars seemed to linger too long in his rearview mirror. Hotel rooms felt unsafe. His phone buzzed with strange, untraceable numbers. In D.C., he reached out to an investigative journalist he trusted, Claire Donovan, whose work had already made her enemies in both political parties. When Marcus laid out what he knew, Claire's eyes widened, not just at the files, but at the implications. "If this is real, Marcus, it means the entire system is rigged deeper than we thought. And if they know you have it, they won't stop coming." The next 48 hours blurred into a relentless chase. They were tracked through airports, nearly cornered in a parking garage, and at one point forced to escape across the rooftops of Georgetown when an unmarked van tried to block them in. Claire used her press contacts to arrange a secret meeting with Senator Locke, but by the time they reached his hotel, the senator was already gone, vanished without a trace. That night, a news alert hit. Locke had been found dead in what authorities called a freak car accident on a rural Virginia road. Marcus and Claire exchanged a look that carried equal measures of grief and fury. The list was real. The program was real. And now, so was the body count. The deeper they dug, the more horrifying the truth became. Orpheus wasn't just an American program. It was part of a clandestine network spanning multiple countries, each feeding intelligence, influence, and resources into a shared system. The masterminds weren't in one place. They were in boardrooms, government offices, and military compounds across the world. By the time they reached the outskirts of Philadelphia, Marcus knew they couldn't fight this from the shadows anymore. The files had to go public, all at once, in a way that couldn't be silenced. Claire made contact with an underground whistleblower network, arranging for a mass leak that would hit every major news outlet simultaneously. But Orpheus anticipated the move. The night before the transfer, Marcus and Claire were ambushed. It happened in an abandoned rail yard, the moonlight slicing through gaps in the rusted metal walls. Their pursuers moved like predators, silent, efficient, and armed to the teeth. Marcus fought like a man with nothing left to lose, taking down two before they closed in. Claire tried to run, clutching the microdrive, but a bullet found her. She fell hard, her voice barely a whisper as she pressed the drive into Marcus's blood-slicked hand. "Finish it," she said. With no time to mourn, Marcus fled into the darkness. Hours later, battered and bleeding, he reached a safe house run by the whistleblowers. The files went out to the world in a digital detonation, thousands of pages of classified secrets flooding the internet, impossible to erase. The fallout was immediate and chaotic. Protests erupted. Politicians resigned. Governments pointed fingers. Arrests were made in multiple countries. Though Marcus knew many of the real architects of Orpheus would remain untouched, slipping into deeper shadows. When it was over, Marcus disappeared. No one knew where he went, though rumors claimed he'd been seen in South America, Europe, even the Middle East. Some said he was still fighting, dismantling pieces of Orpheus wherever they appeared. The truth was simpler. Marcus Hale had learned that in a world built on deadly secrets, survival meant becoming one yourself, unseen, untouchable, and always watching.